In 2025, it seemed like everybody and their mother has been going to Japan, including me, except I didn't go with my mom. I returned from Japan no more than about a month ago, so the trip is still pretty fresh in my head. And as you can imagine, while I was over there, I had my eyes open for cars almost the entire time, except of course, when I paused to admire the many amazing things that Japan has to offer, like heated toilet seats. And I did see quite a few. Some were expected, while many others were not, and I'm not talking just about the toilet seats. My trip began in Tokyo and then I moved south throughout the country, so we'll go through the cars in that order too, and let's dive right in. Let's start with cars of Tokyo. I don't really think there's a more fitting first car than the R34 I saw on my first night in Tokyo. I mean, it's kind of the poster boy of JDM classics, and a member of the Japanese Holy Trinity, which if you don't know is made up by the R34, Mark IV Supra, and RX-7. In my opinion, the popularity of the R34 is only rivaled by the Supra. I was just walking down the street and I actually didn't even notice this one until one of my friends pointed it out. Now, I don't know if this R34 is a GTR or not. The GTRs do have wider rear fenders, and in the picture it does look like this one has a wider rear fender. But GTR conversion kits to convert other R34 models into GTRs aesthetically are readily available in Japan, so this one really could be anyone's guess. If you know more than I do, please enlighten me. On my second day in Tokyo, I caught an STI. More specifically, I saw an STI badge on a wagon that caught my eye. This is a Subaru Levorg STI, and it is a JDM performance wagon. This wagon is powered by a 2.0-liter turbo boxer engine, and from my research, it seems that it can be either the FA20 or FA24 motor. Additional performance upgrades include Bilstein dampers, bigger brakes, STI-tuned suspension, and Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system. The STI variant also gets a sportier and more driver-focused interior with STI seats, and it does all this while of course offering the practicality of a wagon with the performance of a sports car. Some may find this hard to believe, but this was one of the cars that actually got me the most excited. Perhaps it could be because it was the first car I personally saw, and it is a car that we don't get in North America. And I say first car I saw is because I didn't catch the R34 first, one of my friends found it first. Then I found my first German, a BMW F40 1 Series M Sport. Quite a good looking hatch if I do say so myself, and it's another car that we just don't get in North America, and that's a real shame. From what I've learned online, these cars can come in a plethora of different trims, all with different engine and transmission combinations, ranging from a turbo inline 3 and a 6-speed manual with front-wheel drive to a turbo inline 4-cylinder 8-speed automatic and all-wheel drive that gives you about a sub 5 second 0 to 100 time, which is pretty good. Following this up, I saw my first Honda, the Honda Stepwagon, and I must say I really like the name and the boxy design. It kind of looks like a newer Honda Element / bigger Honda Fit, which I think are two of the greatest cars of all time. You can argue with a wall. The Stepwagon is a minivan that's sold only in Japan and can seat up to 8 people, and it has more space than the North American Honda Odyssey. I find that last statement impressive because after seeing the Stepwagon in person, I can confirm that it is much smaller than the Odyssey is. This next one technically isn't a car per se, but it is cool. In Tokyo, I was just walking and I stumbled on a Liberty Walk store, which was insane. Inside the store, they had a Model F40 just chilling. Now, of course, this is not a real F40, but like I said, it's still cool. And it turns out that the next car I saw was a real Ferrari. In Shibuya, I got a picture of this Ferrari Roma. I really like the look of this car. To me, it feels like something between a Jaguar F-Type and an 812 Superfast. Next up, I saw this 4-door R34 that had a livery on it to match the famous skyline from the intro of Too Fast, Too Furious. I'm pretty sure that this isn't a GTR because GTRs were almost all 2-doors, except for a very select few of 4-door Autech or OTEC GTR sedans. Now we arrive as what is the final Ferrari on this list. I saw this Portofino M in a beautiful yellow, and I think it was about to get a ticket in this picture. This might be the M, I'm actually not 100% sure. If it is the M, that means it has a ton of extra performance modifications added, such as an 8-speed DCT and a 620 horsepower twin-turbo V8. And no trip to Japan would be complete without seeing what is arguably one of the most iconic Toyotas of all time. And no, I'm not talking about the Supra, I'm talking about the Toyota Century. Now, if you don't know, it is essentially the most luxurious Toyota sedan the money can buy. 2017 was the last model year that came with a Toyota V12, and I don't think the one in this picture is a 2017, so it likely has a V8 in it. To end off the Cars of Tokyo section here, we have another Fast and Furious replica car, also from Too Fast, Too Furious, also driven by Paul Walker. It's the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. I'm not sure exactly which generation Lancer this is, but there's clearly been a ton of custom work done to this car. You'll also notice behind it that there's a Mitsubishi Eclipse, and while it's not the replica car, Tyrese Gibson did drive an Eclipse in Too Fast Too Furious as well. These guys were offering rides in their cars if you'd pay them, but I wanted to keep all my organs inside my body. And now we move on to cars of Kyoto. Kyoto starts off strong with this gorgeous white Rolls-Royce Ghost. This car is just pure class. If I'm not mistaken, these come with a twin-turbo V12 that is just monstrous to think about. I really don't have much to say here other than remark it's a beautiful work of art. And as we continue through Kyoto, we arrive at another luxury car that exists on a different level than the Rolls, and this is none other than the Toyota Crown. Now these are everywhere in Japan, but we don't get the Crown in North America. To be fair, they recently brought it back as some sort of a wagon crossover monstrosity that is hard to look at. But this is the Toyota Crown in all its glory. To me, this looks far more like a competitor of the Accord than the Camry ever does, but that's just what I think. I technically saw this next car in Nara, but we'll count it as Kyoto because of how close by it was. And this was the R35 GTR, and it looked damn good. Nissan, might have their faults, but they really got things right with the R35. I'd go as far as saying it's one of the greatest all-around cars of this era. The next interesting car I encountered might be as far away from an R35 GTR that you could get. I found a Suzuki Spacia Custom. Spacia? I don't know. And this particular Suzuki was special. It had purple underglow. Now, you can barely see it in the picture, but I promise you it's there. And as some of you might have already realized, this is a K car that is both very compact and fuel efficient. A fun fact is that this car, not the one in the picture because that's clearly a one of one, is also sold by Mazda as the Mazda Flare wagon. And this brings us to Osaka. If I'm being entirely honest with you, I don't even know what the first car I saw in Osaka is. Like, here's a picture of it. It's definitely not a K car, but at first glance, I had no clue what this thing was. And if any of you knew exactly what this was just by looking at the picture, then I thoroughly congratulate you and acknowledge that you have some niche automotive knowledge. I was eventually able to figure this out, well, at least what it likely is, through the magic of image searching on Google. It actually helped me a few times in this video. But this is a Land Rover Defender. Well, it clearly is a Land Rover Defender, but it has some pretty serious custom work done to it. And of course, I took this picture so I have some more context. The car was on a rotating display in a platform in an upscale boutique store. So that alone told me it must be worth something more than any normal Defender. I was also able to see the entire car, and I can confirm that there appeared to be just an entire new, how should I say this? I can confirm there just seemed to be so much custom bodywork done to this thing that it couldn't be normal. And as I stated earlier, through the magic of modern image searching, I was able to realize that what we're looking at here is likely a twisted Land Rover Defender. Now, Twisted does some serious work to these things, everything from updated interiors to swapping Corvette motors into them, with some of their price tags exceeding $500,000, that is. Now, believe it or not, this is the only interesting car I saw in Osaka. Not only did I spend less time in Osaka than Kyoto and Tokyo, I also spent a lot more time walking around markets in Osaka that didn't really have cars. Anyways, we continue to press onwards and we arrive at Hiroshima, or Hiroshima depending on how you want to say it. And we start off Hiroshima strong with two luxury cars in one picture, though they are in entirely different leagues. Though parked side by side, like I said, they don't even exist in the same leagues. The Range Rover Evoque being illegally parked halfway up on the curb, and besides something much more expensive, seems very fitting to me, because that seems like something a Range Rover driver would do. They tend to think the world revolves around them, hence the illegal parking. They also like to show everyone that they have an off-road capable SUV, so they park up on the curb, even though that SUV will never, ever see a dirt road. Finally, they try to convince everyone that they have much more money than they really do, hence parking next to the Bentley that is several tax brackets above it, as if to say, hello, fellow rich people. Anyways, moving on, we have a gorgeous white Bentley, which I believe is a Continental GT. I know it's a heavily debated topic, and it might be a hot take. I think I'd take a Bentley Continental GT over a Rolls. I think at some point in time, I'll give the Continental GT its own video just because it's so great, but I'm going to just, for now, say that it's a damn good car and move on. In contrast to Osaka, I saw too many cars in Hiroshima to list here, and that's mainly because I took a trip to the Mazda Museum, and they had a ton of cool things to look at. As badly as I'd like to show off every single car I saw there, that deserves its own video, so instead I'll do a quick highlight of the two most impressive ones I saw, or most maybe influential. I saw this beautiful specimen of an RX-7, along with what I was told is a Mazda V12 displayed off to the side. Now, I assumed that this is the V12 the Mazda made for the Amati sedan, but I don't really know, or Amati sedan. I only have one more car to show you, and I think it's a good spot to end off the video because it truly is a piece of automotive history. This is the Mazda 787B that won the 24-hour Le Mans in 1991. And I'll end this off by saying, if you haven't been to Japan yet, you really ought to go. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end of this video. If you liked what you saw, I'm going to have some more videos right here on the screen for you. Also, if you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate that. And check out my blog, www.sharksauto.com. Everything on there is free. You can see all of my articles, and every one of my YouTube videos is based on an article, and the articles go up first. So if you want early access, check out the blog, and I will see you guys next time.